In this video we're going to be factoring quadratics, the hard ones, the ones where a is not equal to 1. And what I mean by that is the number in front of the x squared is not 1. For instance, in this problem we have 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. So there's a few steps that will follow, written out 1 to 5 here. And our first step being, let's times the first and the last term together. So that means 2 times 12. The first term and the last term together equals 24. Now, in the second step, I want to think about what factors times to what we found in the first step, 24, and add to the middle term. And our middle term is the middle term of the original expression. So what times together to get 24 but adds to 11? So we can think that out. We've got 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 6 and 4, what else? 3 and 8. All of those will times together to give us 24, what we found in the first step. And which of these will add together to give us the middle term? Well, it's these two right here, 3 and 8. They'll add together to give us 11. So in step 3, we need to rewrite the middle term, splitting it into these two factors. So instead of writing 11x, we're going to write 8x plus 3x. So I've literally split the 11 into two different terms, because remember 8x plus 3x is actually equal to 11x as well. And we still have the plus 12 on that end, and the plus 2x squared at the front. Okay, so to recap, we've times the first and last terms together. 2 times 12 gives us 24. We looked at things that times together to give us 24, but will add to the middle term of 11, positive here in this case. We found 3 and 8 will add to 11, so we've written it out as 8x plus 3x. And the reason I've written the 8x first is just out of habit. I usually put the bigger one first, but it should work out no matter which order you work it out, you write it down in. So step 4, almost there. Break the equation in half and factor. So what I mean is I'm actually going to break this equation in half, 2 terms on the front, 2 terms on the back, and I'm going to factor it. And when I'm factoring, I'm looking for one set of brackets here on each side of that half. So what can I take out of 2x squared and 8x? Well, I can factor a 2x out of 2x squared, and that leaves me with an x. Plus, if I take out a 2, I'm left with 4, and if I take out the x, I don't have anything in there. So again, 2x times x will give me x squared back. 2x times 4 will give me 8x back. If I look at the second half of the equation here now, what can I factor out? Well, here I see that I could actually pull out a plus 3 from both of them. So if I take out a 3, I'm left with x there. And if I take out a 3 from 12, I'm left with a 4. Now, you should be pleasantly surprised with yourself here and notice that actually the brackets are the same in both cases. And that's a good sign for us. So that's step 4. We break the equation in half and factor it, and we get brackets that are the same on both of them. So, in my last step here, I'm actually going to take out the common brackets, meaning I'm going to factor out these common brackets, the ones that I've highlighted in yellow. So, kind of like I factored a 2x out of this term, I'm actually going to factor the bracket out of that first part. So I'm going to write x plus 4, and if I factor out an x plus 4 from that first term, I'm left with a 2x. And the bracket x plus 4, take it out, and all that I'm left with is the plus 3. So basically what I've done is I've taken the common bracket, written it once in front, and then whatever was left, 2x and 3, put that in a different color, 2x and 3, they got written in the second set of brackets. And that's my final answer. So let's take a look at another example. I've written out the instructions for us again there. And in this case, we're looking at the example of 3x squared minus 5x minus 12. First step, again, times the first and the last terms. And watch the signs. So what's 3 times negative 12? In this case, we get negative 36. And I want to think of things now, factors, that will times to negative 36, but add to negative 5. So what can we do with 36? 1 and 36. We have 2 and 13. We have, oops, not 2 and 13. Sorry, 2 and 18. We have 9 and 4. And we have 6 and 6. So those will all times together to give me 36. And if I have a negative, I know I need at least one of them to be negative. And I'm also paying attention to the fact that I need a negative for the middle term. So I'm looking at these, and I notice that 9 and 4 will give me a difference of 5. I just need to figure out, is the negative going to be the 9 or the negative going to be the 4? And in this case, the negative is the middle term and the end term, so my bigger number will be negative. So I'm going to use negative 9 and positive 4. So, to my third step, splitting out that middle term, instead of writing it as negative 5x, I'm going to write it as negative 9x plus 4x minus 12. And at the front, we still have a 3x squared. Moving on to step number 4, I'm going to split that equation in half. I keep the sign with the 4 there with it, and I'm going to look at factoring these. Again, one set of brackets on each side. So what can I take out of this front here? 3x squared minus 9x. Well, I'm noticing that I can take out a 3 and an x. So 3x times x will give me x squared back. And 3x times negative 3 will give me negative 9x back. On the other side, I can take out a 4, a plus 4. So if I take out a 4 from 4x, I'm left with just x. And if I take a 4 out of negative 12, I'm left with a negative 3. And again, like we saw last time, what's in the brackets became the same on both sides. So we're actually going to take that part out the front. So we write the x minus 3 in the front, and in the second set of brackets, we drop in what's left, 3x plus 4. And that's our final answer. So again, times the first and the last terms, look for factors that times to that, but add to the middle term, and watch your signs, your positives and negatives. Next thing, split the middle term and rewrite it with those factors that we found, in this case negative 9 and positive 4. Then split the equation in half, factor both sides into one set of brackets. Take that brackets that's the same for both, put it in front, and drop whatever's left into the brackets behind.